大家好，我姓龚，叫龚理查，请多多关照。Hello everyone, I'm Richard Gong of Active podcast version. So I stumbled because I spoke Chinese this time, and I graded Chinese, which means that this episode is about Chinese stuff. And what I'd like you to know is that maybe the title shows Chinese characters. I'm sorry, I almost said kanjis, but kanji is the Japanese manner of reading hanzi, and hanzi is the correct word for Chinese characters in Chinese language. Anyway, so what I'd like you to know is that, what should I say? I remember. 中国发展救全欧洲 which means I'm not so good at Chinese language, or I'm really bad at Chinese language, and which means the title means the development of mainland China saves all the European countries. That means maybe most of you may think that only the developed countries are Western European countries and Japan, South Korea, and the United States of America. But in developed countries, the birth rates are falling. Birth rates fall, and which means most developed countries are on the declining curve of their populations. For example, in the future, the population of Japan is going to follow. The population of Japan is going to drop, or it maybe on this moment, the population of this country is dropping or falling every second and every year. Which means in the future, the population of this country is going to be lower than that of this present time, and of course, this is the case to other Western European countries, and particularly, or especially, Germany is on such a trend, which means in the future of Germany, the population of Germany must be lower than that of this present time, which means which is based on the fact that the population of Germany falls every year. So Western European countries like France, Germany, and Great Britain, and the Netherlands, and other Western European countries depend on immigrants for the necessary labors, like the drivers of buses or other transports, and other stuff, like other, for example, the members of the staff of cafe or restaurants. They are just examples. So people have a lot of works to do, and whether those works are accomplished or not largely depends on the performances of immigrants. I will tell you again. I'm going to tell you again. We have developed countries have a lot of things to do, or a lot of works to do, and whether it depends on the performances of immigrants in working in developed countries, whether those a lot of works are going to be accomplished or not. Anyway, so immigrants account for large amount of our lifestyles, or the maintenances of our lives, or our developed lives, which is what I'd like you to know at first. So why the development of mainland China is good for European countries is because the local people in Western European countries suffer from the loss of jobs, because immigrants took the jobs because the local people, according to some local people, they said that immigrants took their jobs, or immigrants took the jobs. The local people could have taken, or could have gotten, which is why Brexit happened, which means some local British people thought that immigrants took the jobs. So those local British people could have taken, which is why some British people voted for or voted in favor of Great Britain getting out of European Union, which triggered what is called Brexit, which means Great Britain got out of European Union. And such kind of case happens in other developed countries, for example. So another example is the presidency of Mr. Donald Trump. As you know, Donald Trump is the ex-president of the United States of America, and he was chosen because some colored immigrants took the work, so took jobs of the some immigrants took the jobs, or took works the local people of the United States of America could have taken, which is what some local people in the United States thought, which is one of the reasons why Mr. Donald Trump was chosen as the president of the United States of America. Like which the current developed countries suffer from the influx of immigrants, which means there must be some countries, or there is needed some country which can become a developed countries, which can afford to accept a lot of immigrants. I will tell you again, a country or some countries are necessary, which are large enough, or which are developed enough to accept a lot of immigrants into themselves. And what I'm telling you is one of the countries which can become such a country is mainland China. As needless to say, mainland China is really huge, which is why if that country became a developed country in this world, mainland China has in this present time, mainland China has a lot of high technology stuff, and mainland China has a lot of huge companies nowadays, and moreover, the territory of mainland China is really wide. So, but still, mainland China has still potentials, which means there are some poor people, and there are a lot of poor people, and there are a lot of poor regions. Or there are a lot of poor regions in mainland China, which is why I think mainland China is going to rise in the future. And if mainland China become one of the developed countries, mainland China, as you can expect, mainland China can get an ability, or can get the potential to accept a lot of immigrants coming from other parts of world. For example, if you live in the United States of America, most immigrants are from Latin American countries like Mexico. I don't know whether Argentina people go to the United States of America, but other Latin American countries in which Spanish was spoken. I mean, most immigrants are from Latin American countries where Spanish Spanish language was spoken as the mother tongue of the local people. And in the case of in the case of West European countries like France, Germany, and Netherlands, and Great Britain, maybe the most immigrants come from, for example, Eastern European countries like Poland and where else? Poland and other European, Hungary, or maybe some immigrants maybe from South European countries like Italy, Spain, and Portugal, and maybe there must be some immigrants coming from Russia, and those Russian immigrants may also live in the United States of America, and maybe there are some immigrants coming from Muslim countries, like maybe there must be some immigrants having come from Middle Eastern countries. Considering such a situation, the local people in Europe and the local people in the United States suffer with those local European people, those local American people do not like a lot of immigrants, or those local European people, those local American people maybe do not like a lot of the situation where where a lot of immigrants are coming to their own countries and taking their jobs the local people could have taken. Considering such a situation, if there came to be a huge or larger country which is larger enough to accept a lot of immigrants, maybe European countries and the United States of America should welcome such countries, or should accept and encourage such huge countries, and China, or mainland China, I think is going to become one of such countries, which is what I'd like you to know. So so maybe you may have a question like it's fine if Japan becomes such a country, but this considering the sizes of these countries. So considering the sizes of countries between China and Japan, China is far larger than my country, or China is far larger than Republic of Korea, for example, in terms of the population and in terms of the size of economy. And in terms of the size of economy, China is far larger than the Republic of Korea and Japan. Which is why if China becomes a developed country, I think China is going to be able to accept a lot of immigrants, which is how European countries and the United States of America are going to be saved. Which means the local people can take their jobs in their own countries, which is why people can survive, or people can live on peacefully, which is what I thought. For now, I heard from the news that the local people in European countries suffer from the loss of immigrants because of the pandemic of coronavirus, and which is why a lot of immigrants went away from their own European countries, which is why the local European people are suffering with the loss of such labors given by immigrants. But that is a temporary problem. But after the pandemic, maybe if you are living in developed countries, you may suffer with the loss of jobs again, which is why watching your own country or watching the situation of your country in long view or in long term, I think China should become one of such developed countries, which is what I'd like you to know. That's it. Thank you very much for your listening. See you.